All right, so hit me out. Boom, follow me, right? So I was sitting up late last night thinking to myself, and these series of thoughts led me to thinking about the disconnection between black women and black men in America. And follow me now. This thought, I was trying to figure out, when did we get separated? Like, how did we get so um, segregated amongst each other that we're at the point that we at now, where it seems like we don't, you know what I mean? Y'all know what I mean. But anyway, so look, right, after my series of thoughts got to flooding through my mind, I'm like, boom, right, Vietnam. So look, I may be wrong, but I think Vietnam War ended at what, 75? Yeah, 75, I think. So boom, right, the guys, think about it like this. So the women didn't want the men to go off to war, right? Nah, they didn't want them to go off to war. Was trying to convince their ass, like, why are you going out fighting for a country that don't, love you, protect you, or deserve you? Who off the bam? And the men convinced the women, like, look, we need to do this because if we don't, we ain't gonna prove ourselves. They ain't gonna give us a chance if we ain't willing to fight for a motherfucker. You hear me? So the motherfucker end up convincing the women that they gonna go. Well, letting the women know that they gonna go, not really convincing them because when a black person mind made up, it's over with. But yeah, though. So they go off to the war. Boom. For years, they like, hey, look, we gonna be sending some money home when we come back. We gonna be more, solidified in our title in this country, and we gonna have more job opportunities, and we're going to live better once we make it back from this war. Okay. Boom. So, one, a lot of them didn't make it back for the war. Two, a lot of them didn't get the motherfucking money, a lot of money, to send back home. Three, a lot of them ended up getting hooked on drugs while being over there in Vietnam to cope with what they were dealing with, what they were seeing, and what they were forced to do, meaning take lives. To go from living in the city, living in the hood, whatever the fuck the situation may be, to strapping on your boots, your helmet, and murdering people, no matter what the age, it takes a toll on your psyche. So these men are over here fighting for a country that don't fucking love them or protect them. The women are left here in this country to do what? Protect themselves. Now the women have now lost their husbands, providers, protectors, right? So now they have to step up and be the providers and the protectors, um, and they still have to fight for their rights, their voting rights and things of that nature. So it's shit going on in the country while they out of the country fighting for a country that's waiting to fuck them when they get back. Boom, they come back, right? So what happened when they come back? Like I said, a lot of them come the fuck back with addictions. A lot of them come back with PTSD, mental fucking disability. So now the women, on top of having already deal with stepping up to play their role of protector and provider and so on and so on, they now have to um, add on their plate the burden of, and not saying that they're the burden of their trauma, of these men trauma when they come back from war, because they're not just coming back from war like, whoo, okay, that was good, yeah, trying to get back to work, let's do what the fuck we gotta do. No, like, they're coming back from war with fucking fear and anxiety and all types of fucking nightmares and all types of scars, and you know what I mean, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, they are scarred. So now the women, on top of dealing with what they have to deal with in this country, because remember, they were left in this country with envious white women and lustful white men. So the men want to fuck them and the women want to fucking get rid of them. So that's a hell of a place to be. You feel me? So, yeah, he saw that motherfucker spider. But, so, they come back, the men come back, and now the women have to add this on their plate. They now have to play nurturer to a person who has been abundantly scarred by this country. And when they come back, they're already not greeted with love. Okay, boom. But also, they don't get a job. They were going to war thinking, okay, when I get back, this is going to be a fucking picturesque scene. I am going to have a job, a great job that's going to bring me in a significant income so that me and my kids can finally live the way that the white man does. Yes, gonna live comfortably. We ain't got to worry about no more stressing over bills, food, clothes, blah, 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 education, blah, blah, blah. You feel me? We're gonna have more opportunities. But they didn't. They got over here, got back here rather, not got over here, but got back here and got spit in the face. So now they're coming back to motherfuckers still angry and hateful at them, despite them just putting their lives on the line and scarring their body up to protect and serve this country. They are now still being greeted with hate. And then they still don't get a job. Because although you just fought for this country, you still don't have an education. You still don't have a high school diploma or whatever the requirements are or requirements were at that time for employment. So imagine how this black man is feeling now. He has laid his life on the line for this country, for this promise that never came, and now they come back and this country's telling them basically, ha, nigga, please, you thought we were really gonna honor that motherfucking deal? You stupid as hell. This is basically what they being told in their fucking face. And the woman is like, see, I told you, the black woman is like, see, I told your dumb ass not to fucking do that. And as black people, that's the last motherfucking thing we want to hear. I told you. Yeah, bitch, I know you told me. Shut the fuck up, okay? That's how I assume the black man was feeling, because that's how the fuck I would be feeling. You feel me? Because I hate for a motherfucker to tell me, I told you so after I know you told me so. So the men are sitting over here dealing with this, needing to be nurtured and coddled on some levels because of the magnitude of their scars. But the women cannot give it to them fully because why? They feel this feeling of, nigga, I fucking told you. I knew it. And you were so fucking stupid to abandon us. This is just how I imagine a black woman would feel, because this is how I would feel. You were so fucking stupid to abandon us and trust in a country that has never gave a fuck about you and only benefited off of your pain and failure. But still, you abandoned us. So now the black woman is like trying, stuck between this world or this state of love and gratitude for this man coming back and being alive and being able to make it back, as well as the anger, infuriation of, I fucking told you so. I knew it. And you did not listen to me. So it's anger and gratitude. And the men are dealing with anger and embarrassment on top of not feeling like a man because now you can't provide. You done went out here and did all this extra shit thinking that you were going to be able to come back and provide for your family, but you can't. Now you come back and you're even worse because now you done wasted time killing for a country, wasting time. You still could have been here getting the education or whatever the fuck it is that you needed to get further in life. But they tricked you, so now you're embarrassed. So now it becomes this discord or this disconnection between the black man and the black woman because of these unspoken emotions. Now the black man, and it's funny because I don't know if everybody, well, I might be wrong, but again, this is just my opinion. But when I think about the scenes from movies, when they have those scenes from the war, so the men returning from war, like what was the name of that show? Dead Presidents. Dead Presidents was one of my favorite movies. And in the movie, they return back from war went through the same shit. If you know the movie, you know the storyline. You walk the man. So that's why motherfuckers was fed up and ended up doing that robbery and shit. You know what I mean? Because they put their life on the line for a country that shit in their face when they came back. You feel me? So then it became this just complete disconnection because this man is now feeling infuriated with the woman for being upset with them, for trying to do better with what they had. And the woman is feeling infuriated because they told you not to do it, but you still ignored them and trusted in someone who has proven to you time and time again they do not love nor give a fuck about you. And then the woman is stuck with, like I said, having to nurture and on a certain level coddle this man to nurture him back to health. Some women played that role and was like, okay, look, I understand. Yes, I am pissed off, but I understand you were trying to do the best you could do with what you had. And I'm at least try to, try to nurture you. But like I said, those men ended up coming back with PTSD, fucking anxiety and fear and motherfucking scars, just missing limbs and heavy addictions. Now, there was a drug that motherfuckers was hooked on, but I'm not 100% sure. Motherfuckers said that it was coke at the time, but it was right before the crack era. But I think that was when the shit actually was slowly getting flooded up in here, cause that crack pandemic hit in what, 81? 81? Yeah. Anyway, so look. Yeah, so it went from boom, the black man, even during slavery, you feel me? Even during slavery, the men were still trying to protect their women and vice versa. The women were still protecting their black men through all of the torture and punishment they endured. They still protected each other, but then it got to a point where the country or whomever was in charge, figured out like, hey, let's take a moment and actually separate them. We can't expect to really brainwash them if these people who love each other and been through hell together are still together. It's like that addicts love. You ever been around two hypes and that motherfuckers, when I tell you like fucking Bobby and Whitney or actual crackheads, they not crackheads, I apologize for that, but y'all know what I mean. But yeah though, that motherfucking hype love is a different type of love because they've been through some shit that just, you feel me, solidifies some shit. But when you take them out of each other's presence for an abundance of time, then it's that out of sight, out of mind type of shit, and that each party are going to try to fill in that space. They're going to try to fill that void. You feel me? So that's my opinion on why and when the discord or disconnection between the black men and the black women. See, the during that time when the women was left in this country while the men were fighting that war, the women, I believe, were convinced that they couldn't depend on their men. I think that war was a demonstration to show the women, hey, these might be your men, but when it comes to providing for them or giving them a avenue to provide for y'all, meaning the household, we got him on lock. And we will make him do whatever the fuck it is that we want him to do. So then the woman ended up with this, she had to put up, lace her bootstraps up type shit. Like, I can't think of the word for it, but yeah. Like, she had to get out here and do everything her own. She had to become the provider, protector, and the leader of her clan. And when the man came back, it wasn't in the best way. It was adding more on to her plate than she already had. It was um, giving her more to juggle. And sometimes what's crazy is going even further, but with those men that came back to war, the ones that ended up not getting addicted to drugs and not having, missing limbs, maybe had a little PTSD, but those that came home in the best of the conditions, they came home to their families and they had kids that were looking up to them. So when these men couldn't find jobs or couldn't, bring in an income to take care of his family, what did they do? They went to the streets. They went to gambling. They went to the pool halls. They went to the racetracks. They went to, you feel me? And who followed them? The kids. It was always the oldest child around that time. The motherfucker was coming back. Older son, usually, that followed up after daddy. That just wanted to be like daddy. And because mom, he was absent for those years, they're excited he's back. He's out here trying to be a good role model and show his kids like, hey, I can still provide and I'm going to still provide, not even taking into account of how he's providing and how that provision of, is, or how he's doing it, the display of how he's providing it is affecting their children. You feel me? Like if a motherfucker see, hey, come on, Junior, and you run out there with him, and this motherfucker out here shooting dice and fucking gambling at the pool halls and shit like that, like then this kid is going to grow up with that same type of mentality. Whether that father is an abundant winner in those extracurricular activities or an abundant loser, they are still going to idolize. They 9 times out of 10 still idolize them and still follow in their footsteps to do what they did. So then the mother having to work, still having those roles, extra roles of protector, provider, and leader on her back, as well as mother, nurturer, and nurse and everything else that the woman does. She is trying to catch that child and ends up, losing balance, trying to pull that child back in, losing balance of everything. So ends up losing a child, trying to not let another child follow up behind the father and become just like them, or become like the version that the war created them, okay, that the war molded them into, rather. These are just my thoughts, but when I get to thinking that shit, I'm like, this shit makes sense though. I feel right. But yeah, so like that's what I think. The disconnection between black women and black men was all a setup. It was a well thought out and well executed plan. And if I'm being completely honest, if somebody or anybody was actually at the head of this and thought of this plan to disconnect, separate, and destroy the black household, it was a woman. It was a woman. I don't know. I just honestly, I don't think let me shut up. It was a woman. Women are a lot more diabolical and um, willing to invest in the in-depth thinking of certain shit. So when it comes to planning, a man will think of the steps. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I gotta go here, I gotta go here, then I gotta go here. But a woman will think of the steps to the steps to the steps. You feel me? Like, I gotta do here. In order to do that, then I gotta do this, and that. And in order for me to do this, and that, then I gotta do this, and that. So that's the difference. And I think like that was such an intricate execution that it was done more than likely by a woman, in my opinion. But again, these are just my opinions, just my thoughts. Whether you agree or not, it does not matter. But yeah, I feel like the Vietnam War was a fucking ploy to lure our black men out of our households and leave our black women in this country unprotected. And yeah, when they came back, it was inevitable. You know what I mean? Because they could no longer relate. They was no longer going through the same struggles. The black woman and the black man were no longer living through the same struggles, so they couldn't talk each other through it, help each other through it, coach each other through it, love each other through it, because it was some shit neither one of them understood. The woman had never been to war, had never had to kill, and would never, at the time, would never put their life on the line for this country. Whether it was demanded or not, they would have found a way to get the fuck up out that jam. And the man did not know how it felt. They felt like the black woman probably had it easy. You didn't have to go down and shoot or have people shooting at you trying to blow you up. You just had to, but they just, not realizing the black woman had to stay here with fucking predators. This was worse than the fucking jungle. The white man who wants to rape you and you know what I mean? Still want to whitewash the system and keep your children ignorant. And the white women fucking hate you and want you to go back to Africa while envying every fucking thing that you have. Crazy. Tell me what you think.